this week's Facebook Live with our partners at Miami's community newspapers. It may be Friday, but, well, it's every day in my heart. And this is Alphaville singing Forever Young in honor of 43-year-old Tom Brady, who will be leading his hometown Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. The first time in the history of the Super Bowl a home team plays in the big game. So sing along with me as celebrate being forever young. And speaking of forever young, well, I'm Mark Trowbridge, and here's my pal, Grant Miller.
Hey, everybody, Grant Miller here. Speak about the Super Bowl. Being a home team really makes a difference. But because of COVID, it's really no home field advantage. But they have a huge advantage. Those players are going home every night. They've
been sleeping in their own beds, basically, if you will, for this week. You know, last year when we hosted Super Bowl 54, the teams arrived on Sunday afternoon.
The day
San
before
Francisco 49ers and Kansas City.
The day of the game.
No, the previous Sunday. So they were here for an entire week, sleeping in a hotel, which is great for our hoteliers, but there is a difference between being in your home routine versus your travel and away game.
The Kansas City Chiefs, are they here? Are they in Tampa yet?
I would assume everybody's been there for a few days.
Well, Tampa, they're still standing.
No, I understand that, but at some point, the Bucs will move to a hotel because that's part of the deal. Even when they're at home, I think the Dolphins stay in a hotel the night before.
Yeah, but why do that? I'm thinking for the
It's great for the hotels. And listen, nobody could have predicted two things. One, COVID-19, and a home team playing in the Super Bowl. Remember, Tampa probably bid on this game 5 years ago.
Maybe more, right?
Maybe longer.
Speak about Super Bowls. Before we get into the Core Gables chamber, let's talk about the former president of the Super Bowl, your boy Rodney.
My mentor, my sensei. I worked for Uncle Rodney, both when I worked at the Super Bowl host committee back in the 99 game, which was Super Bowl 33.
You weren't volunteering.
I was the volunteer coordinator.
How many volunteers did you have?
We had almost 8,500 volunteers. And let me just tell you, it's a little different than it is 22 years later, because people would do this. I'm going to fax in my application. And, after 9/11, we had to pivot for large worldwide community events to a much more stringent process of recruitment and background checks. And so when I worked on the game last year, again with Rodney Barretto and the team, I was a volunteer, one of the volunteer leaders. There were 5 of us in that area working with staff. And everything was via a portal. You had to go through pretty stringent process of making sure you got approved, how you scheduled yourself. And we started working really the Friday before. So we worked all the way up until Super Bowl Sunday, approximately 10 days. I mean, the economic impact of a Super Bowl, there's really nothing like it in terms of what comes to Miami.
Okay.
Orange Bowl does super well, but think about, we get Orange Bowl every year. So kudos to them. They give us a lot of that, direct investment in what we call sort of, residual, where people come back. They visit Miami, they fall in love, and they come back. They visit Miami, they fall in love, they bring their business back, they bring their family back, they do a convention here. So economic impact is really the number. It'll be interesting to see Tampa for a couple of reasons. One, having your home team in the Super Bowl, first time in 55 years. And two, knowing COVID is limiting the attendance in the stadium, I think, to 22,000. So, COVID is, it's still rearing its sort of ugly receptor head well into 2021. And I just told someone on the phone that 2021 is kind of like 2020, maybe with just a slightly different haircut.
Very interesting. George Gonzalez says, good afternoon, and this is his favorite duo.
Oh, we love George, and he always asks such great questions. And you know what? He's very much in the know. If you remember when I was here last week, I was talking about a new restaurant concept coming to Coral Gables, and he nailed it. So
you did, by the way, absolutely.
You did. I couldn't really say that, but I think we're going to get close to letting you know what's really happening, because Rodney Barretto's involved, Chef Adrian. I think we can probably say the name of the concept.
What is the name? Grant's?
It should be Grant's. Where everybody knows your name.
What's the name of the restaurant?
Forte.
Exciting.
Very exciting. We love new businesses opening in Coral Gables, but we love ones that have behind it great folks with a with an eye toward really great food, and you can
What kind of
see
food is
what
going to be? Do you know?
I don't know, but she's done a great job down at Redfish, and kudos to Rodney
Have you been
Barretto
to
and his
Redfish?
team. I have.
I can't.
I went to Redfish. I had to make a reservation about a month in advance because it's very popular for a Friday or Saturday night, and the Artaconas were celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary, so we took them out to dinner. And what my favorite thing is on Chef Adrian's menu?
What?
Her conch fritters. To die for.
So if I need reservations, you'll get me reservations?
I'm sure you can call Rodney Barretto. He's a friend of your extended family, my friend.
Oh, I try. It's like that place is always full.
You must have irritated him. Well, remember, they're not at full capacity, but you can sit outside, which is really awesome. It's been gorgeous weather, and they've socially distanced it so you can feel very safe, comfortable, and confident.
You know what's more beautiful than Redfish? It's when you pull in and you pull into the parking lot and you look northwest a little bit. You can look into these beautiful homes and you see all these not sailors, what do they call when you fly in with a sail? Parasailing, kayaks. Then you look into downtown. It's just gorgeous. You couldn't get a better setting.
Well, I have to tell you, I think anytime that you are reinventing a concept, because the name remains the same, the location remains the same, although the build out was different and elevated. But think about what used to happen in that space. So there were no glass doors and windows. It was all open. And what was the most popular item on the snack bar menu? That was a snack bar.
I used to work there.
What was it?
When I worked there in the 70s? Coke's it. No, that's when I worked Zum of the game.
The fries.
French fries.
Yep, the French fries were. People come out of the water, towel off. They were $1. Just $1. Give you $1, get yourself a set of really nice fries. So the only thing better than the fries there. Where? The tater tots.
I just want you to know, Tommy, where did we just come from?
Come on. Mark Trowbridge land. Arbetter's hot dogs, bro.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, Grant took me there a couple.
Actually having the Trowbridge tots.
Of course. The Tro Tots are all the rage. I just told Michael Miller, I said, I don't know how to say this, but they're always perfectly cooked, perfectly crisp, not greasy at all. There's no tinge of them even have ever been frozen. They're just perfection personified.
Well, George, thank you for bringing that up. If you go to Redfish, you just use Open Table on your phone and to book a reservation. So if I know how
he is right, you can use any one of those apps. You can call over there. But if you want to do it in the middle of the night from your phone, like when you sign up, to get your COVID test, just at your fingertips, my brother.
All right, let's talk about some things going on. What's happening with town hall meeting last week?
We did. We hosted a town hall on behalf of the city of Coral Gables and the Business Improvement District. And we had about 110, 115
This is not the commission meeting. This is town hall.
We did it. And the city supported us, and they brought forth, a number of their city staff to talk specifically about Miracle Mile and the zoning updates. And it's funny. There was a program before on Monday that encompassed all of the zoning changes. And somebody actually dialed in and spoke and basically threw shade all over me in the chamber. How dare we host that meeting? And I just think that's so funny. It just shows you sometimes how uneducated and uninformed some people can be. Our members want to know, just like the residents want to know what's going on, and they want to weigh in and give their opinion and give their thoughts. And that's the platform we gave them. Just an additional opportunity beyond the town halls that the city has hosted for the residents.
Just because you're a member of the chamber doesn't mean you don't live in the Coral Gables.
Of course.
And if you're a member of the Coral Gables chamber, you do pay taxes.
You do.
If you're a property
and it's
owner.
Interesting. One of the people that spoke, said this should be a resident's decision alone and not business or not the business community. And, I just wrote her separately in the chat. I didn't want to embarrass her, but I said, first of all, a lot of the business owners, employees, and consumers obviously live in Coral Gables, so there's a vested interest. And secondly, I'd like you to figure out what your tax bill would be if you didn't have a business community, because the business community contributes 37% to the tax base through exactly what you're talking about. So it's a wonderful symbiosis and a wonderful synergy between business and the residents. They're great consumers and supporters, and some of them are the business owners themselves. But if you didn't have that 37%, the taxes in Coral Gables would be a lot higher than they currently are. So that's a little bit of us kind of puffing out our chest and saying, we're going to weigh in just like everybody else does.
Okay, 37%.
Yes.
It's from the businesses.
taxes.
Taxes. Not-
Over and above that grant are things like impact fees,
okay. Parking.
parking meters, monthly parking. Those are all
How much
revenue.
revenue do they get from parking?
You know, I don't know that. I bet you if we talk to Peter Iglesias and the team,
So
we could
South
get
Miami
a
is
very,
$750,000.
we could get a, oh, it's definitely well over $1 million.
Oh,
But
I bet you it's 2 to 3 million.
it's important just to note that. Again, I think the chamber tries to be
that's why
honest.
you're here with me.
Yeah, I think chambers
Parking.
try to be honest brokers in that, but it was very disappointing to hear a resident really chastise us. It was honestly out of line.
The parking, when you ask the city manager, who's probably one of the best city managers in Dade County, he will have it broken down to what part the money comes from. He'll know what comes from what area. He should.
They do. And I think the city's done a good exercise in this process. You know, can you ever have too many town halls on a subject that's creating some, you know, controversy? Probably not. But at some point you have to call the question. That question will be called on Tuesday. But guess what? The city commission listened to the residents and moved it to 4:00 so that more people can participate. We did our town hall at 3:00 because that's kind of that sweet spot between lunch and dinner so that our restaurateurs and retailers could participate. And listen, you know, if other organizations want to step forward and create those opportunities like we did with the bid, then, you know, more power to them. I don't think you can be too educated. But the questions fall into the same kind of 4 buckets. Remote parking. Is there enough parking? How do we drive more consumers to the mile? More foot traffic? There is no desire to build higher than the 70 feet. That isn't on the table. So there was some misinformation there. But you could create some additional density because of the remote parking. But again, Elizabeth Plater-Zyberk recommended more setbacks and step backs, especially at the third
What's a
floor.
step back?
So it's where the building will kind of step back. So it's not just a straight up facade.
And it looks nice.
And it gives you the impression as you're walking down the mile that you're not in a can, which is what people were concerned about, like with Brickell. But that's not on the table, and it's not one of the recommendations. So I'm glad we hosted it. I had a lot of our members, this is kind of funny, email me or see on a later Zoom the next day and say, I've never seen people kind of act that way. And I said, listen, that's the great thing about democracy and the great thing about putting yourself out there and hosting something like that is you get all types of opinions and feedback and comments. And that's why we did it.
Great.
Everybody had a voice. We probably had, I don't know, 25 different speakers ask questions.
That's great. You're trying to be transparent and
the
then
consultant.
The decision.
Sure. But it does crack me up when people think they have the authority to tell us what to do when they've never been a member and never been involved in the chamber. So email me privately if you want to know who that is.
I would love to. Reconnect. What happened with the Reconnect event?
So Reconnect is our monthly program that's really geared toward small business, sole proprietors, new members of the chamber. We've not been able to do that at Morton's over lunch, but we have been able to continue that program. Very popular. It's typically capped at about 40, 45 folks. And when people register for that, they Zoom in. And there's always a speaker. This week it was Lauren Dowland from Lowell International Realty, but we also have a speaker every month talk about what they're doing and what they're contributing and who they're looking to do business with.
All right, and then we had Tronos. That was today.
We had
Big
that
success.
this morning. Thank you very much. We had a great turnout. We were kicking off our Black History Month programming, and we had Michael Finney, the CEO of the Beacon Council, did a great job not only talking about his professional journey and growing up one of 7 children. I said, where do you fit in the hierarchy? He's number 4, so he's exactly in the middle of those 7 children. But his family grew up in Jim Crow era Alabama, moved to Michigan to build a better life, and both of his parents worked for General Motors and lived a very middle-class life. And so he knew very early how important it was to get an education and opportunities to move towards what was next for him. So he went to Saginaw Valley University and studied business, worked in the private sector, and then got recruited to work in the public sector for the state of Michigan, where we recruited him from a little more than 3 years ago.
And it was an outstanding pick.
I think it was. Frank Nero was there a very long time, and then Larry Williams came in, and each one of those leaders has a different style, but they have one thing in common, and that is they have to work really closely with 13 county commissioners, a mayor, now a strong mayor, and a very, very thoughtful and engaged business community. So you're a public-private entity, and so you have to be able to be a diplomat as much as a professional, as much as a doer. And I think Mike Finney fits the bill.
Yeah. Frank Nero and I butted head a little bit.
You did. And Frank and I got along great.
But he was driven. And
Super driven, and he had great...
and it kept the ball rolling at all times.
Yeah, he had a great, he had been a deputy mayor up in Jacksonville doing economic development, and then, came from New Jersey. And so, I like that in those last three roles, at least in my time, because I've worked with all three of those leaders, that they have looked nationally for somebody versus locally. I think that's a job, maybe different than a chamber, where you can bring in a national thought leader, because you can get to know Miami, and you're looking across the country, and you're looking at international opportunities in terms of recruitment. But remember, part of their job too is retention and growth projects. That's equally important.
All right. So next question, book club. What's up?
So we finished that up today. We've done.
I missed it. What was
it
about?
6 or 7 months now.
Vince Lombardi.
We did a program with Mitchell Weiss and Rebecca Fishman-Lipsey. So we co-hosted with the Miami Foundation. And what was really cool about that is that Mitchell's a faculty member at Harvard. So he zoomed in and talked about his new book called We the People. And it talks about entrepreneurship and how that government's not going to be able to solve every problem. So we need to engage the private sector. And listen, we've just come through a major national election where, more than 150 million people voted. So talk about engagement. And let's hope we continue to see that level of discourse and thought.
The conversation with the consulate?
Yeah, so that kicked off our week and our visitor month for February, where
how many consulates are in Core Gables?
Gables are 22.
Wow.
They're 22. So we had the consulate of St. Lucia, but also Pro St. Lucia, which is their import-export organization that helps companies come to St. Lucia and open up, and St. Lucian companies come to Florida and the U.S. And so we had the Honorable Tassa Jean join us. She is the honorary consul, but they have a very active group. And you know what was really cool? They reached out to us, and we said, you know what? We do this program every other month, every quarter, and it was great. We probably had about 40 people join us for that. A lot of our board. So thank you, Chamber board members, and thank you, Deirdre Nero, for helping us too.
So many things going on. What's WWF? I was thinking WDF.
WDF.
Women's.
Is that the Wind Down Wednesday?
That's
WDW.
Yeah.
So
and it was in person.
That's one of the few events that we've been doing for the last 3 months in person. We limited it to 30 people. We were at Coyo Taco, so I hope all of you have seen Miami Community Newspapers and our chamber's Instagram pages.
Wait. No. We just happen to be part of it. It's the Mark show.
It is not the Mark show.
Well, we had a great
You're the
lunch.
only one, by the way, that actually fits on the drone.
Oh, okay.
No? Anybody here? I'm here all week. I get so nervous when Aaron puts the drone up because, it's...
Oh, well, before we jump around, George asked, what's the update about Pond Circle?
So good question. Pond Circle Park, Hartnett Park, where we typically do Burgerlicious, is going to be redeveloped by our partners at Agave, who are building the plaza. In fact, I emailed today with Jonathan Tish about doing a call next week about the Lowe's, and so we have a call scheduled for next week with his team.
Who's Jonathan Tish?
He is just the owner of the Lowe's Hotel, the Tish family.
I mean,
out of New York.
This one or all of them?
All of them.
Is he a nice guy?
He's so nice.
Wait, so this guy has 9
he's
zeros.
He's like a gazillionaire, but he's also the nicest person.
Isn't that great to know?
His mother lived in Miami Beach later in her life, and so he has an affinity. And of course, they built a beautiful Lowe's almost 20 years ago there.
Where?
On Miami Beach. That was built for my Super Bowl in '99, and it opened in 2000. It was a little bit late to getting open because that was a big project with the city of Miami Beach. But we'll have a beautiful new one right opposite it. But George, to your question, they've had a number of public meetings, and it's going to be a redeveloped park. I've seen renderings that have like a small band shell in it for performances. I've seen renderings where there's a lot more tree canopy where folks could literally come.
A little baseball field, maybe?
Put a blanket down. I don't think it's large enough for that.
Soccer?
No, not large enough.
It's going to be like a walk park.
It's a passive park, but it'd be nice with the additional trees to kind of, stretch out on your lawn chair, read a book. It's our central park. So we
A
have a
bandstand
number
would
of
be great.
offices right in front of it. So folks could take their lunch there and have lunch. Be really nice. So that's sort of the plan. I went to 2 different public hearings. I had a nice chat with Carlos Beckman, who was with Agave, who's doing the redevelopment of the park, and they're going to make a hefty investment in that. I think there'll be a dedicated, additional trolley / freebie kind of stop there to make it more mobile and user friendly.
Amy Donner, a board member, says 20 years.
Yeah, Amy was on our Tro Knows this morning. She wrote me a nice note at, we kind of, we're right on point with having Mike, so I appreciate her feedback. But yeah, actually, Amy, it's going on 21 years. Hard to believe. They were just a little bit into 2000 when they opened, but pretty darn cool when you think about it. And I've talked to folks who were part of the city's, historic preservation group and just what went into getting that built, because, they had to develop the hotel, but also redevelop the historic part of the hotel. So they protected it.
Okay, new members, new trustees, new gems.
So we've got 3 new trustees already in February in the first 5 days. We've got our friends at Pita Weber Del Prado. They're an awesome law firm, and Rosanna Weber, Randy Weber, partnered with another couple. They won our Diamond Award for family-owned business. She also chairs our Doctors Hospital 5K, 10K. RM Packaging Graphics, they just joined yesterday, and so that was a project between Erica and our chairman, Brian.
Congratulations.
And then the Franchise Consulting Group with Eddie Rodriguez. I've worked with Eddie over the last couple months to get them to upgrade, and we're glad he's on the mend, and you and I are going to do a video with him. I think would be great.
Which one? Which
Franchise Consulting Group. So I'll tell you a little bit more about them when we get together.
How exciting.
It is exciting to be with you.
So your numbers are pretty good, and looks like. For trustees, you got 2 trustees, 2
we had
upgrades.
2 last month. We've had 3 this month. Our goal is 6. So we've got a couple of other ones in the hopper that we've been working on. Last month we had our friends at Urban Resources. You did a great video with them.
Which
I want
one?
to say hello to Laura. They did Gables Galliano.
Oh, yeah, that was a nice one.
A great one. And then our friends at Gensler, who we just did a Trustee 101 with. They just won a major project in Coral Gables, our new mobility hub. And they competed against some pretty great competition. But kudos to Carlos Valera. Kudos to Deanna Farmer and the entire team. And just so happy to have them back working with us in the chamber. And we want to do what we did with the town halls with them as an opportunity to, bring the public into the conversation.
We have Scott says, looking good, Mark.
Scott and I went to University of Florida together. We were RAs together. We're a similar age.
What's an RA?
He's always looked better than I have.
What's an RA?
He's always had the ladies. He's married to a very dear friend of mine. An RA is a resident assistant or resident advisor. So I was in Hume Hall. I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. I lived in Hume Hall as a freshman and sophomore. My junior year, I was an RA, resident advisor.
You get paid? What do you get?
So you get a small stipend, but you get a meal plan and you get a single room for the price of a double.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had a floor of 56 gentlemen, almost all freshmen, in Simpson Hall, 3rd floor. And it was pretty cool because, they're just 18 and coming to university, and I'd been there a couple years, and I felt like I could impart my wisdom and knowledge on that.
Bam.
But you're also the disciplinarian, and you're also responsible for making sure they don't hurt themselves.
Did you kick anybody off your floor?
If I would write somebody up, they would go through the disciplinary process. I tended to give people kind of a warning, but if they were openly carrying an open container and they were 17 or 18, that was a big no-no. But, sometimes we had students that maybe overindulged, and then they'd be a medical emergency. And, after they got better, they would have to face those consequences. But, the world is different now because that was 1988, a long time ago when I was an RA with Scott.
All right, Scott, nice reaching in. Okay, February, we got Visitors Month. What's up with that? We got, you have a government affairs meeting. You have a chamber engagement 101. What else we got going?
Yeah, so, next week is our fly-in. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But
where are we going?
We're doing a virtual fly-in. So, every year we go to Tallahassee and meet with our elected officials during committee weeks. So next week, the 8th and the 9th, we have 21 meetings set up and presentations and programs for us with our members. We have about 52 members already signed up. So you'll Zoom in and you'll hear from everybody from Nick Duran, Ileana Garcia, our new senator.
So Nick
Jenny
Duran's
Cabrera.
state house.
Yeah, this is all our state leaders. We're also going to hear from Jamal Salwell, who's the head of EFI and Secretary of Commerce, Dane Eagle, who runs DEO, which is dealing with, the long-term effects of the unemployment applications. We're going to be talking with Visit Florida, Florida Retail Federation, Florida Restaurant Association, and then
there's a Zoom.
It's a Zoom. So you can come in for 4 hours and just pay attention, or you can come in and out.
Yeah.
It's a really great schedule. I want to say thank you to Yvette on our staff and Erica, who worked with me over the last couple of weeks to really put that together. It's a real opportunity. If you've never done it before, you do it for free because you don't have to fly to Tallahassee, which can be about $400. You don't have to get a hotel for 1 or 2 nights, which can be about $180. And you can
each
night. And you can eat right in your kitchen or your home office.
Just to let you know, people, Mark is the pilot. He's going to be wearing a little pilot hat.
I just recently sat in the cockpit of a 737 MAX as American Airlines was getting to relaunch that plane that Boeing had built. And, there were some very tragic crashes about 22 months ago. And so they went through a long fix and software repair and it made them flyable. And so I got to sit in the cockpit. And I have to tell you, it's a little tight.
Okay, what's happening?
That's why I'm very tall.
No, February 10th, we got Government Affairs Committee meeting.
We do, and we're going to be talking with 3 candidates on the 10th. Those candidates are Javier Baños, Tanya Cruz Jimenez, and Myra Jolie. Those 3.
You're not having a debate this year.
We are. It's going to be March 11th. But one of the things we thought would be helpful is if our committee did a more strong vetting process, sitting down with them, and they also are filling out a candidate questionnaire.
Good.
And so a lot of folks have already started to return that. And then we'll do it again on the 17th, and then we'll do it again on the 10th of March with our mayoral candidates. There are 13 folks running, so you can imagine there's a lot of voices to hear from.
Absolutely. So in February, we have, I think, American Heart. Is it Heart Month?
It's Heart Month, American Heart Association.
What else events?
Black History Month.
Okay, what else? Anything else?
Visitor Month for us. I don't know.
For you people, just to let you know out there in TV land, Tuesday is an important day. You know what it is? National Pizza Day.
Well, you know what next Friday the 12th is?
What?
Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Wow.
He was born on February 12th, 1809.
Well, we're going to talk about that next week.
Okay, well, he's going to be 212 years old on the 12th. So Zoom in, tune in. We're going to do something fun that day with our Chamber Engagement 101. Dress like Abe, Honest Abe.
Are you doing an initiative for Black History Month?
So we're doing a couple of things. One, I think you'll see in a lot of our programming a very intentional goal in terms of the speakers that we have invited and the folks that are speaking and participating in our programs. And then we're going to be doing, starting next week, spotlighting some of our African-American members. So you said you saw Redford from Jelly Places on there today, Anastasia from Bay 13, Tamika Bickham from TB Media. We're going to be doing some kind of a synergy between kind of our business members and our African-American members.
We skipped over something that was more important. It's time to join a chamber, show the love, share the love campaign.
Yeah, so that kicked off in February 1st, and it's already brought in 3 trustees. So it's share the love and show the love. So we share with you as a member our resources, our support, our advocacy, and you show the love by joining our chamber and being an engaged and active part of our work. So, the good news is that it seems to be working, and we're working with Morgan and Christine and our team to really get that messaging out. And then we're also adding Shop the Love, because February is a big retail month because of Valentine's Day.
You said something interesting.
Only one thing?
Only one thing in the last 30 seconds. You could join any chamber, any business organization. You could do anything you want. You could join at any level. But if you're not engaged, you're not going to get your money's worth. And we've been doing this almost 40 years, my brother and I, and you have to be engaged. You just can't just give them a check and say, a year later, I didn't get results. Part of it is being part of your community and then being engaged with your chamber. So that's the most important thing. Get engaged.
Agreed.
All right. Vaccines, testing, it's getting
so
crazy.
We're just continuing to be very diligent and follow CDC guidelines, not only for our programs, but encouraging those of you in the community. Please, wear your mask when you're out. Don't put our businesses in the line of fire of having to ask you to wear your mask or potentially refuse service. That's not a role that they want to play. They want to make you a great meal. They want to sell you a great product. They want to showcase their organization without there being any type of confrontation, if you will. And, I've learned that even after the vaccine process starts for most people, they can still be carriers even if they're vaccinated. So please wear the mask, wash your hands, listen to Tony Fauci. He's become Tony under President Biden.
So speak about the virus. When you go to a restaurant, you sit down with your friends, you take your mask off. Fine. You're in your own little bubble.
Do you usually ask, though? I usually say, are you comfortable with me taking my mask off?
But when the waiter or waitress comes up to you, put your mask on.
Put it back on, even when you're ordering.
Because it just makes it safer for them.
It is. And listen, I am enjoying getting out and dining out. I'm almost all the time sit outside. Although last night I had to sit inside because it was a little bit
Where,
chilly.
Miami Springs?
I was actually on Miami Beach having dinner.
Wait.
Are you going to have a thing now?
Tommy, were you invited?
Nope.
Ask me now.
Were you invited? Ask him that.
Were you invited?
No. Why?
I was on a date, if you need to know.
Okay. Where'd you guys go eat?
Tommy, is there any water that I could trouble you for? Because now
choked up.
I've become choked up because of Grant's constant
where'd you go
confrontations. It was a date with a birthday. And so
I know. I didn't ask
you. Oh, we
who.
went to Juvia.
What's Juvia?
Juvia is the rooftop restaurant that is at 1111. That is on Lincoln Road. It's a nice little sit outside rooftop restaurant.
Wow.
So we had,
expensive?
I'm on, this plan, so I have to watch everything that I'm eating. So I had for dinner a piece of rare tuna and a side of avocado with cherry tomatoes.
What was that, $40?
I think it probably was like 44.
Not bad deal.
Not terrible.
For two
but
people,
dinner that was for me. Dinner was not inexpensive, but we're out on a date, and I'm glad to take my friend to dinner.
Okay, good answer. Okay, the vaccine the test numbers looks like it's getting better.
We've seen some numbers coming down. We've had a couple of days this week where we're in the 7,000 and 8,000 range, which is very, very significant. So we're kind of through what I call like the holiday spike. I mean, look how long it took us the entire month of January to kind of work our way through the spikes related to probably Christmas and New Year's. Now I have two fears. We're going to hit two more milestones. Everyone loves to host a Super Bowl party, so please be careful. And people love to go out for Valentine's Day. And those are going to fall within 7 days of one another. So I'm worried about another March spike. So the vaccine rollout becomes even more important. And, help folks find the way to do that. There's a new county website where you can do that. It's something that our county mayor, Daniela Levine-Cava, is talking about every single day. And listen, every day is an improvement because more shots get into arms.
That's huge. Okay. The CARE Act 3.0,
we did a program.
Third round. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? So we did a program with all the other chambers probably now about 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Very well attended. Obviously, a lot of interest in that, a lot of information that is a little bit different than CARES Act 1 and 2 and PPP 1 and 2. You have to be, if you got it the first time around, you've got to meet a certain threshold, certain salaries that you can't count. And folks, as best you can, focus on payroll. Focus on payroll. The problem is that a lot of people are smaller than they were in April and May and June when the first PPPs came out. We're smaller.
But I know somebody said, well, it's going on your payroll from 2019.
You can pick that segment, but the whole goal of that was to have people back in the workforce. I mean, 10 million people lost their jobs.
Correct. Consumer
Confidence Index came out this week from University of Florida. It only inched up 0.4. So it went from 82.2 to 82.6. So very little movement in the month of January when all of us, I think, were very optimistic. And, we've seen a little bit more of the same. We had some significant spikes, worries about the vaccine rollout, a change in presidents. I mean, these are all things that impact people's mood, if you will, their sentiment.
Can we talk about something positive? But businesswoman of the year.
Yeah, so today is our
March
deadline.
26th is the.
Yeah, so today's our deadline. I looked at the applications with Erica before I left, and so we're probably going to have 8 great categories. And next week we'll probably be announcing, an organization that we're going to recognize, which we typically honor a women's organization, and we're super excited about that. And then typically there's a leader that a number of leaders. This is an individual award. That float to the top of that, but we use a pretty good panel of judges, and they work hard on this. It's a lot of applications to read. I want to say there's probably 40 applications to review. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So coming soon, February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's.
Yeah. So a week from today,
what's happening there?
Is Illuminate Coral Gables. Kicks off President's Day weekend. So thank you to Benny Torre and Patrick O'Connell, and I'm working, pretty much every day something Illuminate comes across.
This is not, you say Illuminate Coral Gables. This is not for Coral Gables. This is for all of Dade County to enjoy.
No, listen, it's for the world.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be here, carve out a 4-hour opportunity. It's open from 6 to 10, Wednesday through Friday, plus the Monday President's Day. Think about these 8 installations.
Is it walking?
It's all walking. So the chamber and the bid are preparing your walking map. So you can either pick that up at our Welcome Center, or you can download the QR code.
Or roller skate.
But the 8 locations are going to be pretty darn cool. Probably the coolest one is the 9 pedicabs that volunteers will be driving around
I heard
downtown that are all lit. And the most recent city they were in was in Philadelphia. So
I hear you're looking for volunteers. I would say
we are. You can reach out to the ICG website and speak to Nicholas Cabrera and sign up to volunteer. We need probably 25 to 30 every night. And think about it. It's 5 weeks, 5 times.
You just ride around
week.
Gables?
That's just one of the jobs. The other is just, being a great docent.
Because one of your board
Remember, it's all outdoors except I think 1 installation. So yeah, we're going to do a board night with our board and the bid board.
Okay, so Amy Donner try to get me on one of those bikes.
Got to join us. Amy, I think the date that we're doing it is going to be on the 19th of February.
Yeah, it's exciting. All right, so
okay. I like when you're excited. I don't feel like
the
it's
Welcome
happening
Center.
enough.
What's happening with the Welcome Center?
Welcome Center is a little bit on pause, although if you come to our office, you can come in and get materials and activation. But, we moved to this location because it was in the heart of Coral Gables, right at the corner of Alhambra and Ponce. And the city didn't have a visitor center or welcome center any longer. So, we had some stops and starts. Barbara Stein helped out with some things, the folks at the museum. But
what's happening with Barbara Stein? Are they opening soon?
They have done some good work continuing with their...
they had some shows, right?
They've done some... so they did their full gala virtually. They've done some, tune-in shows where you're not live and in person. They've done some camps. They've done the teaching that, Earl does and the crew does. But
who's Earl?
Earl Maulding does the children's theater.
Not everybody knows everybody.
Sorry. It's my biggest fear being 52 is that, having full recall of so many names. I have a lot of names floating around in my head.
I do too. Okay, so...
Because the great hack of our life is that we make you wear a name tag for 2 reasons. One, to show that you've gained admission to the event, and also to facilitate introductions. But it also helps me if I'm having a moment. So we don't wear name tags anymore.
Well, not yet, but you're coming back.
Not yet.
Okay,
but it's going to come back.
What's your next event in public?
In public and in person? And thank you, Morgan. I was trying to remember Young Talent, Big Dreams auditions. That's a cool program because that's funded by the Children's Trust. I'm the vice chair of our Miami-Dade County Children's Trust, and one of my favorite programs that we fund. And the students that participate, the talent, and they are truly young. Last year we showcased an artist with spoken word, a young lady who played her cello. I mean, these are rock stars, and they are teenagers. What did you ask me? It's not Morgan. Morgan pitched me off my pivot. I'm wearing a new shirt today. What do you think?
It is stunning.
I'm wearing a 2X now, a double X.
And what were you before?
3X.
Okay, I gave you a shirt 2 years ago.
Yes, I can fit into that shirt.
You can?
You want me to wear it to the show? I always feel like people are in our business anyway, and they know about that. By the way, you'd have to wear yours. You still have yours?
No, I get too fat.
Well, then why don't we wear it with like a undershirt under it, and we'll just have it open.
Oh, okay.
Let me show this to you, Mark.
Yeah.
You're right there on YouTube, right there. Next to who? Look at these people. Right there.
I love that I'm next to an amazing rare video.
Yes, you are. Look at these people here. Oh my goodness, Tony Bosch.
I heard about Tony Bosch today
Yeah,
talking about the green room. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't see him on camera, but it's the lovely Michael Miller.
Can we have applause for that one?
Yeah.
Can we get some applause?
Wait. You ready?
So you guys don't know this because when we sign off the air at the top of the hour, obviously you go on to other things, but Grant will leave because he's always got to go to the bathroom, and Michael will come and sit in his seat, and we'll just shoot the breeze for 10, 15 minutes.
Can we get applause?
Which I'm always looking forward to. So, listen, I love that you said to focus on optimism.
Be positive.
And be positive. We have to keep doing that. We have to support one another. We have to be healthy for one another. The hard part right now is that we're still dealing with some more of the same. I know it's fatiguing, but even if you're not a member of our chamber, be a member of your local chamber. Support them. Go to their programs. I mean, I looked around the Zoom today, and we did 2 different programs today. And it's just great to see folks, check in on them, see how they're doing. I'm very appreciative of the folks that do that for me and for us.
So I turned on because you told me, and somebody else told me about Michael Finney. So I watched it.
Yes.
He had so many people watching it, and I'm not a big Zoom person, because I talk, I do this.
No, you're a gregarious personality who, like me, is super extroverted, and you draw energy from those interactions. So it's hard. Listen, you and I had a talk on Wednesday. You're that true friend, confident, and colleague who said, snap out of it, Tro. So thank you.
So
I feel like I'm on Howard Stern now, and all of a sudden Fred is here.
So as Mark said, enjoy the chamber. A lot of great things are happening in Coral Gables every week, every month. You're moving forward, and Miami-Dade County is rocking and rolling. We're stronger than ever. Am I correct?
You're not only correct, but I think that should be our mantra, is that, unity was a theme not only in Daniela's campaign inauguration and even her State of the County last week, but we heard it from our new president. I think you'll hear it from organizations like ours, which is, we are better when we're working together. And so, again, I'll just say this with all sincerity. If you're not a member of our chamber, we're here for you, but be a member of your local chamber. That is the most authentic way you can support them at a grassroots level. Why do we do programs that we do? It's to support each and every one of you. Our book club is a great and awesome opportunity thanks to First Citizens Bank. But the real upside to that is we get to work with Mitchell Kaplan and a local, independently owned bookstore like Books and Books that doesn't just sell books. They sell opportunity, they convene, and they collaborate. That's who we are. We are who we are because of each of you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and stay forever young.
Have a great day.